A big and warm hello to all the listeners and football fans, and welcome back for another episode of your favorite football podcast, Gaffer's Advisor. This is your host and Gaffer's Advisor, Siddharth Kathuria, and I must say that as a neutral fan of the sport, I am loving this FIFA World Cup in Qatar. So many shocks and upsets, and so much drama. We are knocking on the doors of the quarterfinals, and the pairing is not without some spice. And on that note, why not add some spice to my YouTube and Spotify notifications by hitting those like, subscribe and follow buttons. But getting back to Qatar, we are past the round of 16 and the last 8 await. So let's get into the pairing for the quarters and recap the exciting and shocking stage of round of 16. So the first match of the last 8 and to book the first place in the semi-finals of the FIFA World Cup 2022 will be played between Croatia and Brazil. Now in Croatia, we have a side that simply refuses to give up. From their heroics in the 2018 World Cup up until now, it has been a magical ride. But if we look at it practically, the squad is aging and the silky smooth football once played by the Croats is showing wrinkles. Croatia qualified for the knockouts riding on just one victory over Canada and were a goal behind at the halftime stage against the resurgent Japanese side in their round of 16 match. Luka Modric and company do face a tall task in the form of Brazil, one of the favourites in this tournament. With the exception of the narrow defeat against Cameroon on the final day of the group stages, which featured a heavily changed Brazil side, the Seleção has convincingly progressed in the tournament, including the 4-1 drubbing of South Korea in their last 16 match. Add to the fact that in their 4 previous international meetings, Brazil is undefeated with 3 victories over Croatia. We talk about David versus Goliath, this is very much like that, and the only weakness I see in this Brazilian Goliath is the number of injuries the squad has suffered. Neymar Jr., however, made a successful return marked with a goal in the round of 16, but Gabriel Jesus is set to miss the rest of the tournament. So unless Croatia can hire some hitmen to injure a bunch of Brazilian players during training or otherwise, I predict a Brazil win and a semi-final spot for Tite and men. The second quarter-final is between two sides that can be called familiar foes, as this FIFA World Cup 2022 quarter-final between the Netherlands and Argentina will be their 10th international meeting. The Dutch lead the overall record by a narrow margin with 4 wins and 3 losses against the Albiceleste. However, the head-to-head record becomes 2 wins each when we consider just the FIFA World Cup tournaments. But despite everything, the agony of never having won the World Cup despite reaching 3 finals will be the driving force for the Dutchmen. But they face a very determined Argentina side led by Lionel Messi, who is adamant to make his last World Cup count the most. The Dutch would be hoping for a repeat of the '98 World Cup when these two sides met in the quarterfinal and the Netherlands came out on top. On the other hand, the Albiceleste would recall the '78 final when they triumphed over the Dutch to win their first World Cup title. With a defense like the Dutch and an attack like that of Argentina, the quarterfinal between the two sides is expected to be an edge of the seat encounter. With a matchup of this magnitude, I am expecting an entertaining football match with Argentina edging out the Netherlands to set up an all-South American semi-final against Brazil. The next quarterfinal pairing is the one that not many saw coming. Actually, it is a pairing that nobody outside of a small North African nation were expecting. Scripting history by becoming only the 4th African nation to reach the quarterfinal stage of a FIFA World Cup, Morocco attained this honor for the very first time to set up a date with Portugal and Cristiano Ronaldo. In a scenario which was a surprise in itself, Morocco topped their group that contained nations like Croatia and Belgium. And then they edged out the mighty Spaniards in their round of 16 on penalties to book their first ever quarterfinal berth. Their opponents, the CR7-led Portugal side, have been convincing this entire tournament so far, especially the 6-1 demolition of Switzerland in their last 16 match to march into the quarterfinals. When it comes to head-to-head between these two sides, they both boast of one victory each. But both those matches were World Cup group stage matches, and the stakes have never been higher between these two sides. In another David vs Goliath pairing, the Portuguese are expected to brush the Moroccans aside with relative ease to advance to their third ever World Cup semi-final. But the heart still goes out to the underdogs and their journey so far in this tournament. A big shout out to Morocco. Way to go, guys, way to go. The last quarterfinal match of the FIFA World Cup 2022 is a long and historic pairing between the English and the French. The Three Lions lead the overall head-to-head against the French side with 17 wins and 9 losses. But if we consider the encounters between these two sides ever since the turn of the century, or the millennium if you will, Les Bleus lead the head-to-head record with 4 wins and just 1 loss in their 7 meetings. Both these sides topped their respective groups and then convincingly won their round of 16 matches by scoring 3 goals each. Considering just the recent form and the talent of both these sides, this encounter is tough to call, as I see it going easily either way. But given the squad strength of England and the injuries that have been plaguing France, I will have to give the edge to the Three Lions to take the big W and advance to the semi-finals to set up a contest with Portugal. With the quarterfinals set to begin and loads of more drama to unfold, you all have heard the gist of the pairings and my predictions as well. Let me know your predictions on who you think is advancing to the semi-finals and who is winning the World Cup according to you in the comment section. Again, please hit that like, subscribe and follow button if you still haven't done so. The coverage of the World Cup will continue as I will be back with more updates, more recaps, more trivia, and as always, a lot more football. Keep following Gaffer's Advisor for more updates and news on the FIFA World Cup 2022. And if you like the coverage, please share it with your friends and footballing circle and help your favorite podcast grow. Until next time, this is your host and Gaffer's Advisor, Siddharth Kathuria, signing off.